What's up YouTube, Cliff here from the Sunday Drive, and today we're going to install the front and rear BlackVue dash cam in our buddy's 2016 SS.
Indeed, it's a sneaky beat.
Here's everything that comes with the BlackVue 4K front and rear camera kit. Obviously, your front and rear cameras, they both come with protective covers over the lenses, as well as clear plastic to protect during shipment. They already have 3M mounting tape pre-installed, so you don't have to worry about fitting or cutting any mounting tape. It's already there for you. The rear camera gets power from the front camera, and this is the cable that goes back to that. You also get power for the front camera with a 12-volt connector right here. They also give you a trim removal tool, as well as 3M mounted clips for routing your wires and your SD card. We're installing this kit with a battery protection kit. This is the MotoPark design, and the reason my buddy decided to go with this one over the BlackVue version is this allows for more voltage settings. This kit comes with a 12-volt connector, so we're going to be connecting power to here, so we don't have to use any of the connections inside the car itself. And then we're going to be using an added fuse to get power to this battery protection kit, and then the camera will be powered from this. All the parts that you see here will be linked in the description of this video. First thing we're going to go ahead and do is mount the front camera. Thoroughly clean the area. It's best to use a little bit of rubbing alcohol to clean off any residue. Go ahead and remove the backing on the 3M tape. Then line up the camera so that the lens is centered in the middle of the windshield. Before pressing it in all the way, just kind of set it up there so that you can still move it around and line it up. Matt's out there, he's getting it, making sure it looks straight. And once you're satisfied with where it's at, go ahead and press it up and hold it down for a few seconds. Next, we're going to go ahead and mount the rear camera. Now, keep in mind the orientation of where the plug is and which way you're going to run the wire back to it. We're going to run along the driver's side, so we want it mounted in this direction. Also, we have rear tint on the back window, so we don't want to mount directly to that tint. We're going to mount to the third brake light right up here. Then go ahead and peel back the backing tape. And again, just press it on lightly so that you can align it. Once you're happy where it is, just press it up and hold it tight for a second. Now we're ready to run the wires. We're going to go ahead and remove this trim piece. Behind it is a fuse box that we're going to tap into. First, peel the weather stripping back. Then take a screwdriver or a pick tool and insert it behind this piece, and that'll come right off, and try not to drop it. And the fuse box is right in there.
Behind the scenes.
You don't have to record this yet. We're going to go ahead and pop this trim piece apart that's behind your rear view mirror. Take the pry tool and just stick it in here, and this will come right apart like that. There's a whole bunch of clips along it that hold it in place, and now we're going to feed the wire up through there. Connect your power and rear camera lines on the side of the front camera, and then we're going to feed these up through this trim that we removed and into the headliner. We have the wire fed up alongside the front collision detection right here, and then there's a little clip that I fed the wire inside right here, and then up through the same hole that the other wires are going through. And then we fed it along top of the headliner, and we're getting ready to go down the A-pillar. You'll notice that there are little prongs that stick off right here. The trim pieces will hold on to those. You're going to want to put it down a little bit and slide it up. And same method with the top. This is all that's exposed right here, nice and clean. We have the wire fed all the way over to the A-pillar. We're going to separate the top of the A-pillar right here. And what we're going to do is peel the trim all the way away from the door there. So now you just need to feed the one wire down that is going to go to that battery protection kit. This wire right here is going to keep getting fed along the headliner to the back of the car. I'm going to go ahead and pull the rest of the door seal down and then feed this up into the headliner. Take an unbent hanger or a fishing line and feed that through above the center pillar here. So I'm feeding it above the headliner. It's actually above this pillar. Left to the front. Pull down the headliner right here, grab your line, and then you're going to use that to pull the wire through. Go ahead and just keep tucking the wire along here. Do keep in mind you have an airbag here, so you don't want to impede your airbag. So once you have it behind here, I basically pulled it up here further, so it's running across here and won't impact the airbag. And what I'm going to do at this point is actually plug it into the camera so I know how much slack I have. I'm going to go ahead and pull this excess back up towards the front. And reinstall your door seals. We're going to go ahead and feed all this extra down the A-pillar and wrap it up behind the dash. Just reinstall the door seals as you go. So I'm taking some 3M tape and wrap these wires right here, and we're just going to stick them inside the A-pillar so that there's no rattles.
Mr. Finch, what do you have to say about what's going on here?
It looks interesting.
Right, here's the fuse panel door that we removed earlier. All of these should have constant power even with the car off. We're going to go into the top 15 amp fuse. That's for the HVAC control. And if you're not sure which fuses have constant power, you can just check it with a voltmeter. Here's our add a fuse. We're going to go ahead and reinstall the 15 amp fuse in the bottom one right here. And you want this installed in the same orientation as you took it out. And then you can use any fuse really as long as it's smaller than the 15. We're going to use a 5 amp fuse. Here's the battery protection device we got. It's from MotoPark. And the reason we went with this one is there's a lot more settings for your battery, and it also doesn't require switch power. It's an option, but it's not required. Most of the other battery protection devices require you to hook up switch power, and all the fuses for that on the SS are actually in the trunk, so it's kind of inconvenient. As you can see, you set your voltages through dip switch settings. We're going to be setting ours to the 12.2 volts, so we want 1 and 2 in the on position and 3 through 5 off. And this will basically shut the camera off when the battery voltage drops to this voltage. And obviously you can set it up for 6 hour, 12 hour, 24 hour. We're just going to go with the battery setting of 12.2 volts. We have 3 wires coming off. The black cable is ground, and the red cable is actually not for the positive or constant power. It's the yellow cable. If you're going to use a switch connection, then you're going to hook up the red cable. To tap into that add a fuse we just used, I'm going to be using a posi tap. I'll have a link to this in the description of the video. I prefer using these over crimp taps because they're much more secure and consistent. We're going to loosen this bolt right here. It's a 13 millimeter to install our ground. Insert the ground behind the bolt and just tighten that back down.
This requires 1 ugga-dugga of pressure. If your friend's small, it might need 2 ugga-duggas. It just really depends. Remember kids, tighten till it cracks and back a quarter turn.
So this setting will keep the camera on for 24 hours or until the battery gets to 12.2 volts, whichever occurs first. At that point, this will cut power to the camera and you won't continually drain your battery. Note that this has 2 connections so that if you wanted to add additional accessories like a radar detector or additional cameras, they could run from the same device. Tape's included. Just go ahead and remove the backing and install that to the bottom of your device here. Go ahead and plug in your wires. It only goes into one of these. Remove the backing tape. Now there's a nice channel right behind this part of the dash right here, and it'll fit right in there. Make sure you have access to the dip switches. Go ahead and connect your camera into the 12 volt connector. And I'm going to electrical tape these together to make sure they don't come apart. Reinstall your plastic trim piece. And reinstall your door seals. To install your SD card, remove the power connection and then pop off this cover right there. The SD slot is right in there. And then put the cover back up and reinstall power. So we're not showing this right now for obvious reasons, but right where Matt's finger is the serial number and Wi-Fi password for this camera. So you have to remove it from the mount in order to see it. So here's the BlackVue app. This is looking out the front camera right now. And you can swap and look at the back camera. That's it guys, a very quick and simple install. I apologize for the audio in this video. My microphone was not working, so the audio is probably a little bad. But thank you guys for watching. If this video was helpful, give us a thumbs up, consider subscribing. We'll be doing a complete video review of the camera, the battery protection device, as well as the app and all of its features for this camera system. Anything you want to configure for the camera, as well as downloading updates, can be done through the app, which is a really nice feature. You can actually have us install it for you. I work for Keys Motorsports. We install BlackVue cameras as well as a lot of other car components, mostly for BMWs, but the BlackVue system is kind of cross-platform, so to speak, so we'll install that in most vehicles. If you're interested in purchasing any of the parts, we'll have links to all of them in the description of this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and we'll see you guys here next time. Thank you so much for watching.